Hello and welcome back to another video about the ongoing FIFA World Cup, and in today's video I'm going to look really just at England's tournament. So I'm going to go through the games, how well I thought we did, some quick thoughts on the actual game itself. I'm going to look at really the knockout games as well and the group stage games, and then really just kind of give a bit of an overview on how well I think we did overall, and really kind of the context of our situation in the World Cup, because obviously each team is going to face different teams, so not everyone's World Cup is going to be the same. So to start with, we ended up going out in the quarterfinals to France, which funnily enough is what I predicted. I didn't just predict that we'd go out in the in the quarterfinals. I predicted that we would probably be facing France. So there's a few predictions that I got right there. So to go all the way back, even though that's only a few weeks, so all the way back probably isn't the best way to describe it, but in the group stage, in Group B, well, we were in Group B, and in that group we had Wales, Iran and the USA. So really, I think that this was quite an easy group. Yeah, to be honest, I think it was an easy group. People were saying in some areas that we had one of the most difficult groups based off world ranking, but let's be honest, we all know world ranking is kind of full of shit sometimes. But so jumping into the games of that group, the first game we had was against Iran, and to be honest, we won the game 6-2. Really, it's kind of expected for us to, no disrespect to Iran, but it's kind of expected for us to walk over a team like Iran. 6-2, I think they would have been a bit annoyed to concede the 2 goals, even though in the context of the group, the 2 goals just didn't matter whatsoever. I mean, we won the game 6-2, we got the 4-goal difference, and it was just really a standard domination from England. So probably the best way to open the group, the group stage. A simple, really kind of run-of-the-mill game, and we literally destroyed Iran. I mean, there's not really too much to say about this game, except, like I said, just a standard domination of a team that we're expected to dominate. However, in the second game against the USA, this was a hell of a lot different. This was the first game that I actually watched live. A lot of the other games, kind of watched the highlights and saw what other people had to say and everything. But this was 100% our worst performance of the tournament, and that is by far. I mean, I don't even know what we were attempting to do in this game. It literally looked like we did not want to win the game. It was like we were passing the ball around trying to get a draw. I mean, we drew 0-0 with the USA. And that, oh my god, me and my dad were just getting really, really pissed off at the TV, because we were looking at the TV and being like, why are we being so passive? I mean, we were literally just passing the ball around, hoping that the USA would just give us a space to run into and get a chance and maybe score. I really did not understand that performance. I mean, there was literally no urgency with us going forward. It looked like we didn't want to score. And the biggest worry I had in this game was that, considering how passive we were being, that the USA would just break away, or they would get a free kick or a corner and just score. Not at a particular point in the game, but just score and hang on for a 1-0 win. I'm so glad that didn't happen though, because that would have been a disaster, an absolute disaster. But yeah, as I said, worst performance of the tournament for us. And to be honest, I'm glad this came in the group stage, and I'm also very glad that we drew the game, because this is the exact type of game that England would just throw away usually. So on to our last group game. It was a 3-0 win against Wales, and really it's kind of another standard win, but this game was a bit different because we started off quite slow, and I was a bit worried that it would be a lot like the USA game, where it kind of seemed like we thought we were going to win before we went out there. And to be honest, that is quite worrying that we would go out like that. But the weird thing was, the difference between the Wales game and the USA game was that we really did seem in control of this game, even though we started really slow, even though it was really weird, because we actually went forward and created chances, but it didn't seem like we had that urgency to start with. However, coming into the second half in this game, we got in our stride. we got in our stride really well. We went forward with a lot of urgency, and then we started scoring goals, and we ended up winning 3-0. But it's like, this is really this was the worrying thing for me in these last two games. It was literally like, it's kind of hard to put into words, but it's like we weren't that bothered, if you get what I mean. It's like we thought we were going to go through regardless of really how we performed. And even though we should beat all three of these teams, you've still got to go out there and you've still got to really want to score, and you've still got to put the urgency out there. And I don't know if that's because of the team's age, because of us having a few young players, it went to their head a bit, especially with the game against Iran, where we went out and won 6-2 quite easily. I don't know if the players thought, oh yeah, this is just going to be a walkover, this group. But I think in that set, after half time against Wales, we may have got a bit of a reality check, or our manager Gareth Southgate may have had a word with the players, and then we went out and then we just actually played. But yeah, that was quite worrying for me. So overall, we did finish top of the group. Thank God we finished top of the group, because if we didn't finish top of this group, that would have been quite embarrassing, if I'm honest. Because even though I say Wales, but even though the USA are quite a good team, they're not a horrible team. We should have really wiped the floor with this group. So moving on to the round of 16, and we faced Senegal. So for this game, we had quite a rocky start, to be honest. We were creating chances, but Senegal were coming forward, and they were really up for this game. And I think they're the champions of Africa or something. But at the start, I thought we defended well to stop Senegal taking the lead, because there were a few times where Senegal could have easily have taken the lead, and we defended well, or Jordan Pickford made a good save, or just generally something like that. So to start with, I think we held our own and really just stopped Senegal taking the lead. It did take us a while to get going again, really, which is what worried me again, because I was like, oh God, we're going through this trend again. This is going to be a trend throughout the World Cup. We're going to take a while to get going in a game. And really, after we got that opening goal, we really seemed very, very in control of this game, which is what I liked. We took the lead and then we never looked back. We ended up winning the game 3-0, which, if I'm honest, I was saying we should beat Senegal 3-0, but knowing England, we could make it pretty difficult for ourselves, to be honest, because we just have a knack, not just in football, but in quite a few sports, of making games like this that we should win comfortably, making them difficult for ourselves. So yeah, I think overall, the round of 16 tie, it was a good performance. Even though we took a while to get going, we still got the job done and won the game comfortably. So now, moving on to the quarter-final, where unfortunately this is where we would go out 2-1 to France. And really, this is a weird game, because I thought we played really well. I heard a lot of people saying that we played better than France. I don't know. I think it was quite even. You could just slightly tip one side over the other. Overall, I think we played as well as we could. But the big problem I had with this game was there are a lot of 50-50 calls that just didn't go our way. For France's first goal, Saka seemed to have been fouled. But the thing I didn't like about that is they didn't even look at it. They didn't even go back and look at it. But for other teams, they would go and look at it. So honestly, I think the official was absolutely horrendous in this game. He didn't really want to give us anything. He only gave us those penalties because he had to. But in all fairness, I'm going to say we did have 2 penalties, and unfortunately, Harry Kane did miss the second one, which I'm not going to trash him for, because in a World Cup quarter-final against France, having to score 2 penalties, that is a lot of pressure. However, we had 2 penalties, and we missed one of them. So really, it's down to us, even though it's a weird situation, because the ref was horrendous. He didn't really want to give anything to us, but then again, we had 2 penalties, so we had our chances, and we had chances outside of that, but we just didn't take them. And France being world champions, they're going to take, if you give them chances, they're going to score. So France went through. You can argue whether they deserved it or not. You can argue whether, the ref was just favouring France or whatever, which, to be honest, considering how this tournament has gone, I wouldn't be surprised if officials were kind of siding with teams. And you can call me salty for that, I don't really care, because funnily enough, whether you want to believe it or not, that kind of favouritism happens in sports in general, literally, and teams get screwed out of games. But I don't think you can really argue that much that we were literally properly screwed over out of this game because the 2 penalties again. So yeah, we go out to France in the quarter-final. We go out to the former world champions. We go out to the world champions. So that's how it ended, and that's how it will go down in history. So overall, I think England did do very well. Finished top of our group, which is what was expected. In the end, we comfortably beat Senegal in the round of 16. And then going out to France, there's no shame in that. They are the current world champions. If you go out to the current world champions, there's no shame in that, considering that they're in the final again. So once again, overall, I think that England did very, very well. I think really we did the best in the situation we had. I don't think really we could have done much better. If we got a bit more luck against France, we could have been in the semi-finals and we could have been in the final. But that didn't happen. The calls didn't go our way and we lost the game. That's it. So those are my thoughts on England's World Cup. Leave in the comments how you think England did. And if you want to leave a comment about a particular game or a particular performance, if you want to say how you disagree with me with how we played in a game, go ahead, do that. If you liked the video, if you liked my kind of slight analysis, leave a like. That would be really appreciated because it'll help the video. And yeah, thank you for listening to my little analysis of England's World Cup, and hopefully I will see you in the next video.